The situation unfolding between Israel and Iran is a disturbing reminder of how quickly regional tensions can spiral into a broader conflict with global implications. Prime Minister Netanyahu's warning of further strikes indicates a strong likelihood of escalation rather than de-escalation, suggesting that diplomacy has once again taken a backseat to military confrontation. The intensity of the Israeli strike, targeting senior Iranian military leaders, was not just a tactical blow, but a clear strategic message meant to deter future aggression. However, such actions rarely pass without a strong response, and the cycle of retaliation is already evident. One of the most alarming developments is the preparation of Israeli hospitals for retaliatory strikes. This move reveals how serious the threat is perceived to be, not just by the government, but by civilian institutions. When a country begins relocating patients into underground wards, it signals that war is not a distant possibility but an imminent threat. It raises the question, how prepared is either side for the human cost of sustained conflict? And at what point does national security compromise the health and safety of everyday citizens? This latest flare-up is also a stark reflection of the deeply entrenched animosity between Israel and Iran, fueled by decades of mistrust, proxy wars, and ideological opposition. Iran's nuclear ambitions and Israel's resolve to prevent them are long-standing flashpoints. Israel's strike on nuclear and military targets was not just reactive but preemptive, pointing to a belief that waiting could be more dangerous than acting. But that leads us to wonder, does this approach truly secure Israel's future, or does it ensure perpetual hostility? Another point worth exploring is the global community's role, or lack thereof, in mediating such crises. The UN, regional powers, and Western allies often express concern, but tangible efforts to address the root causes of Israel-Iran tensions are rare. Are international mechanisms for conflict resolution fundamentally broken, or are global powers too divided or disinterested to intervene meaningfully in Middle Eastern conflicts unless directly affected? Moreover, this clash also raises questions about proportionality and legality. The assassination of high-ranking officials, while arguably a tactical success, pushes the boundaries of international law. Where is the line between national defense and aggression? And who gets to decide when that line has been crossed? This also underscores the ever-evolving nature of warfare in the 21st century. With cyber warfare, drones, and precision strikes becoming standard, traditional notions of wars are shifting. How do these technologies affect our ability to discern between defensive actions and provocations? And do they make it easier or harder to resolve conflicts without full-scale wars? From a humanitarian perspective, the escalating situation puts millions of lives at risk, not just soldiers, but civilians caught in the crossfire or displaced by conflict. The move to underground hospital wards is one chilling example of the toll this could take. Should there be more emphasis on civilian protection and less on retaliatory force? And how can global institutions enforce this? Another deeply unsettling thought is how this conflict might spread. Both nations have proxies and allies across the Middle East. What happens if Hezbollah joins the fray? Or if US interests in the region are targeted, prompting direct American involvement? Is the world teetering on the edge of a much larger war? In such moments, leadership becomes crucial, not just in Israel and Iran, but in the broader international community. Netanyahu's firm stance is popular among hardliners, but does it close the door on diplomacy entirely? Is there still room for voices advocating for peace, or have they been drowned out by the drums of wars? Finally, This conflict forces us to confront deeper ethical questions about power, security, and justice. If both sides believe they are defending their people, can either claim moral superiority? And in a world increasingly polarized and desensitized to violence, what does it take to shift from vengeance to reconciliation? These questions may not have easy answers, but they are essential if we are to move beyond cycles of destruction.